Hey Patrick, this is Patrick with Drive Interactive Group. Just wanted to say thank you for reaching out and saying that you wanted a little website audit on my Facebook post there. Let's just go ahead and dive in. Just looking at your website, I really like it. It's branded nicely with your colors. You've got great images. You got a slider here, which is good. I can see your trucks here, which is fantastic. You talk about emergency restoration services. You know, you have easy areas for people to get in touch with you, and ultimately that's the most important part of your website. If it's your biggest asset. So if you're going to drive people to your website, number one goal of your website is for people to contact you, whether it's by phone, by email, fill out a form, something. That's the number one goal. First thing I want to talk about that can be an issue, or that is an issue, is you see this not secure up here. So what that means is that your website does not have a SSL certificate, or maybe it's not populating correctly, and that can definitely hurt with your rankings, because basically it's telling Google that this website's not secure, and that's one thing you definitely want to make sure you do is tell Google that your website is secure. I'm going to dive in a little bit more. So I went to this is the back end of your website, and this, people see this when they search, but this is what Google looks at, and basically says, okay, this is what this website's talking about. This is what they say that they do, and so we need to rank them for what it is that they say that you do. In your title tag, and this is on your homepage, so your title tag, it's good. It's 67. It's under the 70 characters. Restoration services, emergency restoration services, Resto Medic. So that's good. I don't know if you need to have both restoration services and emergency restoration services. Maybe it's emergency, fire, plumbing, water restoration services, Resto Medic, something like that. But because what's happening is you're basically telling Google right now that you want to rank for not only restoration services but emergency restoration services. So anything that has to do with mold remediation or fire restoration or water restoration, you're probably not going to rank for, because this is what you're talking about. So, and then in the meta description here, you don't have one. It's zero. So you need to go in, and this is where you actually go in and describe kind of the services that you do. So this is where you talk about water restoration and what that looks like, and fire, mold, that kind of stuff. Talk about the cities that you service, the Woodlands, Tomball, Houston. You want to put that information in there, and what that looks like is, let's see here. Let me see if I went in. Where did I find? Yeah. So basically, I did a search here, Restoration Tomball, Texas, and you're on the first page. You're not in the Google My Business listing. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but you are on the first page. So Resto Medic. See, Resto Medic, restoration services, emergency restoration. See, and it's cut off because you're actually using your website title here. So I would definitely remove that and just keep the restoration service, emergency services. And then basically it's taking your top title is all it's doing, because you do not have that meta tag or the meta description here. It's basically taking this right here and putting it in that spot. So it's not bad that it's there, but you want to add a few more, add a little more content, make it flow a little bit better. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at your header tags, and with H1 header tags and H2 header tags. H1, it's basically you could put an H1 header tag on every single page of your website, and it tells Google what that particular page is all about. So you do have an H1 tag, which is great. A lot of websites don't normally have one. But your web, I guess what it's saying is across the board. It's there's too much going on here. So what you're trying to tell Google is that this particular page talks about emergency, fire, water, Houston Spring, Tomball, and the Woodlands. So what I would do is I would talk about restoration services, emergency restoration services servicing Houston and surrounding areas. Something like that. So what it's doing, let's see. So once again, this H1 tag is taking this information here, instead of maybe, emergency restoration services here, or maybe Houston area or the Woodlands, North Houston, something like that, which is going to target now your specific area versus, being across the board. So next, you have these H2 tags, and what I see here is you can see Houston surrounding areas, Houston surrounding areas. This kind of stuff here, you need to remove. You need to remove the H2, because typically the way it works is H2 supports H1, H3 support H2, those types of things. So the restoration services here, H2, franchise opportunities, since you do offer franchise, that's good. But these should be H3s or H4s. Emergency restoration, that's fine at H2. Our services might be an H3. Client testimonials, because really there's nothing there to support your number one title with client testimonials. That's not gonna support restoration services. So that's why you want to change those. And the last thing I hear is you have 19 images, 7 of them are missing alt attributes, and what that means is you can actually add keywords to your images. Call it fire restoration, Tomball, Texas, or mold remediation, Houston, something like that. So you have a few images that you need to fix there. So I did look at, one thing I usually tell people, most people, they don't have enough content on their website, but you actually do have quite a bit. You have 1,400 words, so I mean, I think that's great that you have all that. You talk about your services, you can see how many times the keywords are used, mold 23, damage, restoration 20, medic. That's all good. That's really good, actually. But the only thing I would probably do is down here where you talk about your services and you have these brief, maybe 2 sentences, I'd maybe go in and add a little bit more. Maybe make these like 250 words for each, and maybe you separate them a little differently. I just think that would help out a little bit better. So I wanted to show you a couple things. Let's see. I typed in restoration Tomball, Texas, for a search, and I came down here and I found you. I found, here's your homepage right here. And then you have this page right here where it says, Tomball, Texas, restoration services, restomedic.com. So if I click on that, right, the problem is this page is not found. So that means you have a broken link somewhere. And so you definitely want to fix that, because that's causing issues. You don't want to send people to a page where you don't have any content. Now, granted, they can get to some things, but there's no content there. So you'll definitely want to fix that. And then secondly, the other thing I looked at on your website, you got links to your social media pages. That's great. You can get rid of the Google Plus here, because Google Plus is no longer. If I click on it, it's going to take you to a Google account to try to sign in. And we don't want to do that, because Google Plus, they got rid of that a couple years ago. So you don't need that anymore. So then, real quick, I wanted to talk about, your Google My Business listing. So I typed in Resto Medic's Tomball, right? And it shows basically all your information here, all the places that you are online. And then here's your Google My Business listing. And so, one of the issues here is that, what you're telling people with your Google My Business listing is that your company's not necessarily Resto Medic, it's water restoration services, fire restoration services, Resto Medic, right? So if somebody was to type in, if they were to type in, let's see, I did it up here, restoration Tomball, right? You should, because you are a restoration company up there in Tomball area, you should be somewhere up there, and you're number 3 right here, which isn't bad. But if you were to change that to Resto Medics. And here's the other thing: if I typed in water restoration services, look, you're number 2 in the map. So by changing it to Resto Medic, or Resto Medic dash restoration services, that type of thing, that's going to help you rank in the maps a little bit better. So at the end of the day, there are some things you could change. The last thing I wanted you to show you is one of the biggest things that Google does, as far as rankings are concerned, is it's all about trust. How much they trust your website. And it looks. I don't know if you've been doing SEO. It looks like the company that built your website says they do SEO, but right now you have zero trust. So Google does not trust your website whatsoever. So that's unfortunate because you have a good website and they should be trusting it. So I think by making a few tweaks, you can definitely increase this and increase your rankings. So I hope you found this informative. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Once again, it's Patrick with Drive Interactive Group. And like I said, yeah, thanks.